All right, we're on day 12 of the 30-day Craft Room Organization Challenge, and today we're talking about markers. Now, who doesn't love markers? When I signed up to be a demonstrator 10 years ago, after I got my kit, the very first thing I invested in were the Stampin' Write markers. You can buy all 40 of them together in one purchase, and they come in this awesome case. And I knew I wanted the case, so I decided to buy all 40 of them at one time. Otherwise, you can buy them 10 at a time. But the only way to get this case is if you buy all 40. And I love it because it comes with a handle and it has a place for you to put your name right here. And then over here, it has all of the colors. And so when you slide them in, you can make sure they line up with the colors. And there is extra space too. So if you choose to invest in the in colors each year, you can add them to your handy case. Now, I only store my markers in this when I'm going to a crop. It's perfect for taking to a weekend retreat. Otherwise, they sit in the system that I talked about before, the Storage by Stampin' Up! Line. They sit right next to the color of ink pad, which is perfect. In addition to our Stampin' Write markers, we have blends. Blends are alcohol markers, and they come in a pack of 2. So each color has a light and a dark shade. And so you get 2 of them for $9. And they're meant for shading and layering and adding sort of a dimension to your coloring. But what I love about the Storage by Stampin' Up! Line is that it's completely customizable. So depending on how many blends you have would determine on how many packs you want to buy. So the lid is sold separately if you want to put a top on that. And then from there, you can buy 5 racks at a time. And so I have 15 racks, which means I bought 3 packs. And each one going across holds 6 markers. So that would be 3 colors because remember, the colors come in a light and a dark shade. I also have mine labeled, but don't worry about that because we're going to be talking about that on day 28. And then up above, I have a color chart, which is a great way for just keeping inventory of the blends that you've already bought so you don't accidentally buy them twice. But it's also a good way to just sort of see the differentiations in the color combinations that you can make. Whatever you do, just make sure that you store your markers horizontally because all of our markers, and that goes for the Stampin' Write and for the blends, they're dual tip. So we have a fine tip and a brush tip on each end. And so you want to make sure you store them horizontally, never vertically, so that you can make sure the ink is ready to go when you use them. So when I go on a weekend retreat or a crop and I want to take my blends with me, I use this case that I got off Amazon. I like it because it has a handle on it and it has Velcro. And then inside, there are all these different places for you to store your alcohol markers. So it's great for transporting to an event. But in addition, I have a bunch of other markers, right? I'm sure we all do. And so for that, I use the Stampin' Storage Marker Nook. And I like it because it's open and it's divided into 4 sections. And so I keep retired Stampin' Write markers here. I keep more of my Sharpies and my watercolor pens here. I keep my Creative Memories markers here. And up top is sort of a miscellaneous of gel pens and paint pens and things like that. But I like it because they're open cubbies, but they can still keep your markers organized. And while we're talking about markers, I might as well tell you about my watercolor pencils. They come in a pack like this. However, I don't like to keep it in that. So I just use a stamp case, and you can buy these separately. And I print it off an insert so you can see what colors are inside. And then I like to keep the aqua painter that goes with them so that after you do your coloring with the watercolor pencils, you have the water that you need to add to your project. So I've moved this, thanks to this challenge, I decided to move these over here next to all of the other markers that I use for coloring my projects. So these are just some ideas. Can't wait to see how you store your markers.